everything going.
Sounds good to me.
Woohoo!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Codex Station. It's Comic Character of the Night. Oh, I'd say of the
night.
Week.
Of the night.
Of the night for the night. Well, it's a good character for the night. Let me tell you, because we're talking about Man-Bat tonight. I'm your host, Sal the Slab Guy. Joining me as usual are my usual partners in crime. Always in trouble, but you know, never arrested. Is Dan the Kelly Art, Uncle Gary himself, and of
Not
course,
recently, anyways.
yeah, not recently, J Dub. How you guys doing?
Doing all right. Doing all right.
Trying to make it.
Trying not to be too sad that summer is slowly fading or quickly fading. It ain't slowly fading. It's quickly fading.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Got one last hurrah coming up for me. I'll be at the Outer Banks in a couple of weeks. That'll be nice.
The TV show or the actual Outer Banks?
Actually, Outer Banks. Actual Outer Banks. And I'm gonna completely disconnect. I'm not gonna take any. Not gonna be online or anything.
Jesus, off the grid eating meatballs. How is anyone gonna know you're eating a meatball sub?
All right, I'll send you guys pictures of me eating meatball subs. Okay.
Like how do we live with?
I'll have my phone and I'll send you guys a picture of me eating a meatball sub. All right.
That makes me feel so much better about my life. Thank you.
Okay, there you go. Very good. Very good.
I want to make sure you're getting your vitamin M.
Vitamin M. Yes. We're not going to go there. We're going to change the subject now. Is Pam on? Do we have sports talk?
No, we don't.
Dan the Kelly's running the league. He's proclaiming that he's going to win this league.
I am guessing 6th place for me this year.
Out of 6?
Hey, well, 6 out of 6?
Well, the league now, since it's only $20 a person, it's winner take all. It used to be when the fee was higher to get in, there used to be more payouts. Like you got $50 for winning your division. You got 100 for third place, 200 for second place, and 600 for first place. But then, people are like, I don't have the money for this anymore, so we had to lower it to $20 a person.
Yeah, it happens.
It does. I used to have a buddy of mine that ran like a high price league and then like a cheapo league as well.
What's up, Mr. Keith?
Mr. Keith.
Well, the other league I'm in is a free league. Whoever wins gets the trophy, but whoever comes in last place has to do punishments that everyone else in the league picks.
Yeah, I'd be out.
Of course, most people don't pick punishments for the person to do, and unfortunately, we've had people kind of bitch out, and whenever they lose and they get punishments picked for them, they just drop like, "Oh, I'm not going to do the league anymore."
Well, that happens too.
Yeah,
that happens too. All right, we say we get some business out of the way, and then we'll go ahead and kick off the show.
Yes, sir.
All right. Like I said, I'm your host tonight, Sal the Slab Guy, coming to you from the Slavatorium. But you can always find me on YouTube under Sal's Comic Corner or Instagram as the Slab Guy 70. No, yeah, it's the Slab Guy 77. Couldn't even read my own text.
Thought you were going to say 77.
77. The Slavatorium 77.
Mm-hmm.
Down below, we got Dan the Kelly Art. Dan, give them a quick rundown of what you do and what they can buy from you.
Yep, you can find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art. Post a few times a week, so go check it out. And then this guy here, he's got a whole lot going on. He's going to tell you about it right now.
All right,
Yes.
Comic Logic, Loudoun County, Virginia's only comic book store. We have a couple events coming up, so we are going to let me tell you about it. We have a setting up at the Fairfax Comic Con, which is at the Dulles Expo Center. So if you're in Northern Virginia, it's right near Dulles Airport. So please come down and see us. That is going to be the 23rd and the 24th of August, Saturday and Sunday, 23rd, 24th. So please come see us. We'll be set up there for both days. And then in Comic Logic, it's in Loudoun County, Virginia, here in Ashburn, we will have a special guest signing on September 3rd, Wednesday, from 11 to 2. None other than Philip Kennedy Johnson will be there signing. He'll have his new Batman book, his new Superman book, House of L, will be coming out that day, and he will be signing copies of that and whatever else you want to bring in for him to sign. So
nice.
Please come see us either at Fairfax Comic Con or in person, at our shop on September 3rd, or come to both, man. Do yourself.
And he just announced the new Hulk series today.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. So Philip Kennedy Johnson, and like I said, we've been teasing it. At some point, we will get him on here. He has agreed to do an interview. It's just a matter of getting his timing right. So he will be an interview subject on this very station. So also check out Comic Character of the Day, which is the site run by Dan Kelly, founded by our good buddy Archduke Kevy. So always worthwhile. He's in the middle of his X-Men month, except first day of the month was Avengers month, where he had Avengers Day, where he had Beast, and then the rest of the month, Thursdays, has been Comic Character of the Week character. But see his random panel of the day, question of the day, great site. It's how we all got acquainted, so check it out. And then up there, that fella right there, who looks so happy, so refreshed, so ready to go. He's vital. And he is the one who founded this because he had a vision that he was going to build this station so we could transmit this wonderful comic knowledge all over this land of ours. He's the master builder. He is our high evolutionary. He is the one and only J-Dub.
Thank you for that. And you guys know what I'm about to say. Go check out thecodexstation.com. One-stop shop for everything Codex. Get some merch, meet team. Let us know what you like, don't like, and find us on the
socials, the socials that we all have, that we are infected with. It is in our bloodstream. It is in all our bodily fluids. And we can either give it to you by you pressing that button, or we can give it to you in person through bodily fluids. So whichever works for you, we are here for you, and infecting you is what we live to do. So
no appointments needed.
No appointments needed. Penicillin, maybe. Appointments, no.
Yeah, no. Consult your physician.
Please do. All right, let's go ahead and kick off the show then. I got a nice intro for our character of the week. Good old man.
Real fast before that. Last week was the first one we didn't get demonetized on. So congratulations, Sal.
Thank you. Wow. Well, I did something wrong then. I did something wrong.
I was waiting for an email.
Wow.
So, do you think they were asleep at the wheel?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Or I hope they're tired of hearing me. One of the two.
Hey, Richard.
as well.
All right, folks. Stand by. We'll see you guys in about a minute.
Very nice.
Thank you.
We probably should save this character for Halloween.
Probably should have, but
Yeah.
That's
All right, well, I guess we're doing that. Bye, everyone. Tune back.
Thank you for tuning in.
2 months.
Yeah, I mean, with all those bats, and I was like, damn, that's too spooky for now. It's
yeah,
it's too
I'm
spooky for now.
just a big Halloween
Too
fan. I
spooky
just
for
love
now.
it. Yeah. So, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Mhm.
That. All right, so let me give my little intro here. Tonight, we're diving into the Gotham midnight skies, where science, obsession, and tragedy beat on a torn wing. Dr. Kirk Langstrom wanted to cure human limits and became the thing that hunts above the rooftops. He's not a villain. He's not a hero. He's a scream in the wind. This is Man Bat. Sonar sharp, talons out, and one bad night away from saving you or shredding the skyline. Buckle up, Codex crew. We're chasing the monster that Batman can't always catch. And that's Man Thing.
Man,
Dan.
Man bat.
Man
Man
Bat.
Bat.
Sorry, Man Bat. I said Man Bat.
There goes Sal the
Trying to
Slab
get-
God doing it
There you
again.
go.
Yeah,
There we
just
go. I know. I had to mess it up. I practiced that too.
The Sal guy's trying to.
Why
get-
did you practice messing it up?
I did. Because that's what I do.
Oh, because you practiced. You said I messed it up, and I practiced that.
practiced.
Why would you
Yep.
practice
Just
messing
mess
it
it
up?
up.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I get it out of the way, I won't mess it up. But I
Ah.
did.
Mhm.
Dan, give us the intro.
Codex logic at its best.
Oh, I was gonna say for Codex, we should sign up for Cameo and see if people will pay us to make little messages for
That's not
I'm
a bad
good.
idea. I'm in.
them. Everyone loves talking man. All
There you go. There you go.
right, Man-Bat first appeared in Detective Comics 400 from June 1970. Raise your hand if you bought a copy off the rack when it came out.
I didn't, but but I do have a copy, a nice copy too.
It was created by the concept was by Julius Schwartz,
Mhm.
and then created by writer Frank Robbins and artist Neil Adams. Now his origin has kind of been tweaked a little bit over the years. At first, he was. I don't think it was explicitly stated that he was a scientist at first. He just worked in a museum.
Yeah.
But later it was, the origin that's kind of been gone with is that he is a scientist that was experimenting with bats. And again, at first it didn't really say why, other than he was just trying to develop this serum for people. But it was later said he was hoping to cure deafness. And then it was shown that he himself had suffered with that. In humans, he develops a serum for it, and he tests it on himself and transforms him into Man-Bat. At first, he kind of, it was shown in his first issue that he kind of seemed like he idolized Batman and he wanted to become a superhero,
Mhm.
fight crime alongside of him. And then it's been changed again. Like I said, it's been kind of, fiddled with a bit over the years. As far as his powers, as Man-Bat, he has enhanced strength, speed, agility. He has those giant leather wings that allow him to fly. And he has sonar that allows him to navigate in the dark. And then as his human self, Kirk Langstrom, he is a highly skilled scientist specializing in biochemistry and zoology, though not skilled enough to not turn himself into a giant bat creature.
Scientists always do that. Oh, that's all right. I'll just test it on myself.
Yeah, let's try this real fast and see how it goes.
Mhm.
Yeah. What's the worst that can happen? All right. So let's go ahead and move on to what works best. And Uncle Gary, why don't you kick us off on that? What
All
works
right.
best for you?
I think what works best in this guy is when he is flying over Gotham on leathery wings, and I like the origin where he was trying to cure deafness. I think his sister might have been deaf. At one point, they introduced that as one of the possible reasons why he was very interested in this. So he's trying to do something good. And again, like all semi-crazy scientists, we can't find any test subjects that are willing to do this. So I'll just do it on myself and cut out the middleman. So he turns
That's
into
right.
this. I love the characters that are tragic monsters, and he's one of the tragic monsters. Kirk Langstrom, where he's trying to do something good, but through bad judgment, he turns himself into this creature that he doesn't always have control of. Sometimes he does, and there have been many iterations of it. I like it. I think I like. I like a lot of the iterations of it. But I think I like it where he's the tragic monster, where he really can't help himself, and he's lost control, and he needs Batman or somebody else to try to help him rein in the savage tendencies that the Man-Bat has, who flies through the night and he fights crime, but it's kind of like on instinct. It's not well thought out. It's just if he comes upon it, he is gonna fight crime. And whereas Batman is fearsome, he's a whole different kind of fearsome. When he picks somebody up by those powerful feet of his and it flies him through the air, that's pretty frightening. So I like the tragic monster version of Man-Bat.
Okay. Very good. I'll go next with that because that's exactly what I had in my notes. The tragic monster. I like that. I like the scientist that's always on that edge. He's got to do something. He's driven so hard to cure something, fix something, heal somebody or humanity, but then test it on himself. I kind of like that trope. I really do. So, but I like the tragic monster most of all. As far as iterations go, I like it when he was sort of in control, but Batman had to reel him in. So not saying that the other iterations were bad. I kind of, I like them too, but I like him when he was sort of in control of the monster itself. So, how about you, Jamie?
All right. Well, because I figured everybody was gonna have the tragic monster story, I had a backup.
Uh oh.
So
You got a contingency plan?
Yeah, I have a plan B, if you will. No, I like him when he's like the horror of Gotham, when he's written like a straight up horror villain, stalking rooftops, flying through the fog, ambushing criminals or cops, just being scary. Artists can really go all in on the wingspan, the teeth, the glowing eyes, and then Batman fighting something more monstrous than human, than the human mythology. It just plays great against that ground detective, setting.
Okay, very good. How about you, Dan?
Yeah, I kind of go with the monster thing. I like it more when he's, I guess it goes into the tragic monster when he's struggling between the man and the monster, and he because when he becomes Man-Bat and he kind of retains some of his humanity, but the longer he stays like that, the more and more bestial he becomes, and then getting him to transform back. And then there's always seems to be some reason for him to go back to being Man-Bat for something, even knowing, what it's going to how it's going to affect him, and his family. So, that struggle between the two is, I think kind of interesting.
I like that. That's good stuff. That is good stuff. All right, so let's jump on to our next segment then, which is badass moments. And I think I'll go first on badass moments tonight. So my first one I have, let's see. Where are my notes? There are my notes. All right, so first one I have, taking out a helicopter mid-flight. Man-Bat Volume 2, 2006. In his feral state, Man-Bat leaps from a skyscraper and just rips apart a helicopter midair, sending it crashing down. Pure monster movie type of energy for me. I love that. That was awesome. My second badass moment I have is saving Francine while surrounded by SWAT people. So this is in Man-Bat Volume 3, Issue number 3. Despite being hunted, he barrels through heavily armed SWAT guys just to rescue his wife. And he uses force in his aerial maneuvers. He evades gunfire, and but he still shows his intelligence that's buried inside the monster. So, and this is what I kind of like, where he's still kind of like human, or he's in control of the monster, but he just tore through these SWAT guys like they were butter, and that was like butter. But it was a great scene to see. And then my last one is a rooftop chase through Gotham. Guess who's chasing them? Yeah, it's Batman. We know this. Detective Comics 429, Man-Bat over Vegas. So Langstrom takes over the skies. He's evading the Gotham police and Batman in a nighttime chase across the rooftops of Gotham. But his speed and his agility is like near impossible to catch, and he keeps turning the tables on his would-be captors. And for Batman to struggle to capture him, that alone screams badass moment for me. So those are my three. Those are my three. All right, Dan, you're up. What you got?
All right. I'll go with one. It's not like a super badass moment. It's just one that I think, like, a lot of people that might be around my age or a little younger. There we go.
It's a party now.
My first introduction.
Better get your rabies, Chris.
Yeah.
My first introduction to Man-Bat, because he's a cool villain, but he's not one of the top tier, like the main known Batman ones. So my first introduction to him was in Batman the Animated Series. And it was early because it was the second episode of the first season, called On Leather Wings. And just that moment when Batman confronts Langstrom in the lab, and then you see his transformation into Man-Bat, and you're like, yeah, it's a cartoon and it's a cartoon for kids, but still, like, that was,
That's pretty
was
hardcore.
very horror movie. Like, that was
Mhm.
pushing, like a lot with that show.
Mhm.
That transformation into Man-Bat was kind of pushing what you could get away with on a kids cartoon back then. It was pretty badass.
Yep, I agree with that. That was a great episode too.
I don't know that that's the kids' cartoon.
That's
That's made for.
my MLB.
Yeah.
My second one is from
The
Man-Bat.
Savannah Bananas.
Trying to get tickets for them. It's not easy.
No, it's not.
Man-Bat Volume 2, Number 3. It was just a 3-issue miniseries that came out, and throughout the first 2 issues, it's looking like there was all these killings in Gotham, and it's looking like it's Man-Bat, and then at the end of issue 2, you find out it's somebody else. I'm not going to spoil exactly what happens, but it's this big monster-ish guy that's killing all of these scientists, and then you find out why, and then he comes for Langstrom, specifically Francine, because the entire miniseries, Kurt is Man-Bat. You only see him as that. You never see his human side except in flashbacks. And he comes in and saves his family from being killed by this big monstrous creature. And it's a really cool fight scene that goes over a couple pages. So I had that one. And then my favorite one is from a comic that came with the record. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are pretty cool. I had some of those when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Detective Comics Volume 2, Number 19. There was the Man-Bat formula got pretty much released as an aerosol on this entire low-income block called the 900 in Gotham, and everybody there, the whole population was turning into Man-Bats and terrorizing the city. And this was after Batman had a falling out with the Bat family, so like Nightwing was literally just left town. Batgirl was kind of he's telling her, like, how about this? And she's like, F off, I don't need your help. And so it's Batman fighting himself, and then Kurt and or not Maureen, Francine. Kurt and Francine, come in. He's like, and this is like New 52. So this is the first time Bruce is meeting Kurt, even though they had all that previous history. And he says, I know what this is. I created this, and they stole it from me, and I could fix it. And he, knowing what's going to happen, injects himself with a new strain of the Man-Bat serum that turns himself into the big monstrous creature, but it releases like another kind of basically an antidote into the air, and that gets spread through the air, and it heals everybody in Gotham. So all of these people are turned back into normal people, and his sacrifice saved all of them, but then doomed himself to being this monstrous bat creature.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good. All right, Jamie, how about you?
Okay, so for the first time on this show, I am breaking one of the rules that you guys always break and using something other than comics.
I mean, I use one from.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
From like
I know, I don't. I always try to take it from the comics themselves. But with this one actually comes from a video game.
Oh.
So this is from Batman Arkham Knight, which was the last release of the series. So there is a part of the gameplay where you can, grapple and kind of glide through all of Gotham. And when you get to a random certain part of the game, you're gliding. There's no interaction, no nothing. Man-Bat comes and literally takes you mid-flight out of the sky screaming. The only time in my life I've ever jumped because of a game. And if you guys look up Man-Bat, Batman Arkham Knight, you will do the same thing because it's just random. It happens, and he's one of the objectives in the game. But him coming out with the teeth trying to bite you as you're mid-flight going down with Batman is one of the most badass moments, I think, in gaming history. It 20 seconds of just pure, like, oh my fucking God, like
Nice.
dropping the controller type of scare. My next one comes from Justice League Dark 14 from 2019.
Yeah.
By this point, Man-Bat's on the team. but he still gets a huge like holy crap moment when they're ambushed by magical creatures immune to the most physical attacks. Kurt taps into his full monster side and unleashes a deafening, glass-shattering echolocation scream. It wipes out the entire wave of enemies in seconds, and even the magic users on the team stop and go, okay, maybe we don't make him mad anymore. It's the perfect monster on our side kind of idea. And I'm trying to find another one because you guys took two of mine. I bought backups just in case, but we'll go with Man-Bat #1 from 2006. This one's kind of like a pure horror movie kind of energy. Kurt is in full Man-Bat form and stalking a gang of armed thugs on Gotham rooftops. They think they can handle the big bat. And then he literally swoops down, rips the guns out of their hands mid-flight, and sends two of them tumbling off the building. The panel where he's just a shadow against the moon with the caption, "I'm faster than fear," is the perfect way to portray him. It's the moment you realize Man-Bat isn't just scary to cops and criminals. He's Batman level fast with claws and fangs and wings.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. All right, Gary, how about you?
All right, very good.
Did we take any of yours?
That's okay. We'll deviate. Just as a general one, I do love it when he's shredding cars or trucks or helicopters. So he does that really well. I also like the one.
He's one of those few villains that like Batman truly fears.
Yeah.
Like when
I agree.
There's a lot of even like Killer Croc and some of them. He's like, all right, I can take him, but when he's going against Man-Bat, he's like, oh shit, this is going to be rough.
Well, I think also he's pissed off because of the merchandising mix-ups. He's like
he's not getting any royalties.
Yeah, he's not getting any royalties, and he feels like he helped create that.
Yeah.
I also like the Justice League Dark where he shattered everybody, shattered all the bad guys with his primal scream. I like that a lot. And this is just kind of a silly moment, but I love it. Gotta love the Haney-verse, Bob Haney. In Brave and the Bold 119, Man-Bat and Batman are captured. And so to turn the tables on their captors, Langstrom has some of the bat serum on him, and he gives it to Batman and turns Batman into a Batman bat.
Batman bat.
He turns into a Batman bat. And they catch a killer that they're trying to extradite back to the U.S. and eat with their feet clawed. One of them's got his hands, one of them's got his legs, and they fly him all the way back from a Caribbean island back to the mainland U.S. And I just thought that was great, and that was badass. So Man-Bat and Batman bat. So
Batman.
Yeah, there you go.
Batman.
Yeah.
Batman bat.
And then in Detective 1040, which was a Death of Man-Bat issue, right? He's got this fear creature that's in him, that's bonded with him, and to keep this creature at bay, he has to sacrifice himself, because if the creature gets out into the general population of Gotham, it's bad news. So he ends up sacrificing himself, and he dies in Batman's arms in this issue. And Batman, who's never truly been comfortable around Batman or around Man-Bat, because a lot of times Batman views Langstrom as kind of a weak individual, for experimenting on himself and always succumbing to doing this again and again and again, and he's kind of tired of having to deal with this. But he sees the strength of Langstrom, who makes this sacrifice to keep this entity inside him, by dying with it inside him. And so Batman seeing that Langstrom's heart in that was a cool, badass moment. And that was in Detective 1040, so not that long ago. So those were my three badass, and everybody had great badass Man-Bat moments. And visually, I think we can all say visually, he is probably a cooler character visually than he is really when you get to the nuts and bolts of who he is.
Right.
It's just, when we get to the covers, it was a tough time picking covers because there were so many great ones.
That's
Yeah,
true.
there were.
That is true. All right, so let's go ahead and then jump to our next segment, which is what we don't like about the character. So let's see, Uncle Gary, why don't you kick us off with this? What don't you like about him?
I don't. In some of the instances of, I liked him being like a consultant and working with JLA, the JLA Dark, the Justice League Dark. But sometimes they made him just a little too goofy and timid in that, and I didn't appreciate that aspect of it. I liked him being the resident kind of scientist and biologist, and dealing with and him putting that spin coming from that direction with a lot of the occult stuff they were dealing with. And he had some really good moments in Justice League Dark, but they would at times make him a little too timid. They dress him up in a little suit and a bow tie and all that. And I just thought that they were really trying to push the, the timid little meek, mild scientist. And I never had that feeling from him, because this is a dude that experimented on himself.
Yes.
So there's nothing meek and nothing mild about that, and little timid about that at all. So
Okay, very good. Jamie, how about you?
I have overusing the transformation gimmick for me. If every single appearance is like, oh no, Kirk transformed again, like Batman has to fight him before he turns back, it just gets old. Like, to me, readers stop caring because the stakes feel recycled more than they do fresh and new.
Okay. All right. Dan, how about you?
A couple things. Visually, he is a cool character, but origin wise, it's not a super original origin. The scientists that experiments on themselves and it goes horribly wrong. I mean, that's we've seen that so many different times in so many different mediums. And really, I think he lacks consistent characterization. When you first see him, it's not really explained that he's a scientist. Like I said before, he just experiments on himself, makes himself the man bat, and he's like, oh, I'm going to fight crime with my hero Batman. And then he is, comes into conflict with Batman. He's not, even when he's on the villain side, he's never a villain because it's, oh, I want to rob banks or I want to take over the world. It's just, the beast kind of taking him over, and then you see him. Sometimes he's Man-Bat and he's in control. Sometimes he's Man-Bat and he's just the monster. Sometimes he needs the serum. Sometimes he just transforms. There was some really kind of weird stories in Batman Family where he's like out there trying to, to be a hero so that he can make money, and like that's going to be his job. And I think like the first issue he was in that, he comes home and he's telling Francine like, yeah, I made $20, stopping whatever, and he goes to work for this detective and
Jason Bard.
Yeah, Jason Bard. And and then you see him in Justice League Dark, like Gary said, and he's just this kind of goofy little guy, and it's some cool stuff. They him trying to fit the magic stuff into his world of science, but yeah, it's a characterization of of him that you've never seen before, and other times his personality just seems to kind of go all over the place as Man-Bat and as Kirk Langstrom, depending on who the writer is.
True,
and I think that just kind of holds it back, because it makes it hard to get a sense of who the character is when every writer is treating him differently.
Yeah.
And you're very right about, it's the trope of the scientist experimenting on himself. I think what makes Man-Bat interesting is because it's the mirror image of, a twisted mirror image of Batman is what makes it interesting.
It's kind of what, when Batman, first comes on the scene, it's kind of what people think he is.
Right.
Oh, he's this giant bat creature.
That's right.
All right. Very good. I really have to say, I still do like the old trope of the scientists experimenting on themselves. I still like that. I mean, that's just, for me, that's one of my, every time I see that happen.
I don't mind it. I just think it's the, it's the reverse of Batman, which is what makes it really interesting.
True.
Yeah.
He always turn left like real bad. Yes, he does. And he
I thought that was only
he
male
uses all
models.
the intersections too.
What was the with Superman where like Jimmy Olsen put Superman in a cave to protect him from kryptonite, and then Man-Bat was
in there. Yeah, that was just silly. That was.
Anyhow, I think
Hawkman to hell.
Well, they had a special kind of kryptonite in there. It was guano kryptonite.
Guano, yeah.
Guano.
I think that affects everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So just to wrap up my my point, I think I agree with Dan about the characterization. They've written them so many differently, so many times that I'd like to be something more consistent, and go with that. Just pick something and go with it, and let it run its course.
Well, it's kind of like with the Hulk, though. How many different versions of the Hulk are there?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So that's kind of what they're doing there.
Mm-hmm, exactly. All right, so let's go ahead then and jump to top covers, and let's see who will be first for top covers today. Where are our top covers? Look at that. Jamie is first for top covers.
Ooh, goody.
There you
Yeah.
All right. So 2 of them I pulled straight off of Man-Bat number 1.
Yeah. I like that one on the left.
Yeah, the one on the left, I actually have that one. I didn't get the whole series, but I got this because of just that cover alone.
Is it Nolan? Is that Nolan?
Yes, let me double check on that one. I have my
That's a
notes
cool cover,
over here somewhere. Yeah, that's Nolan.
Time out.
Nice.
Yeah, Nolan, and then the middle one is Kyle Hotz.
Mm-hmm. Love Hotz.
Nice. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah, so I love it because of the fact that it's just like him free falling, gliding through Gotham. It just looks aesthetically pleasing.
We're in the skinny jeans.
Yeah. I mean, a Man-Bat's got to show off his Man-Bat somehow.
Mm-hmm.
That middle one, I just
awesome.
like how it looks, like just on the bat signal, just destroying it, like clawing at it, just looking like he's about to scream into someone's face. And then obviously, because you guys know me, the last one, 23.4 from the New 52. This is from Detective Comics, Man-Bat number 1.
This was a lenticular cover too, wasn't it?
The 3D cover, yeah.
Yeah.
The bat's flying behind him. He's got Batman chained up. It's and just running at you full force like a Bane-sized Man-Bat.
Yeah. Your bats are now mine, Batman.
Yes. I control them now, Man-Bat, Batman.
Awesome covers, though. I love that middle one. Dan sent me some of the some pictures that he liked that he thought I could use, and I used that one for the final title card, which was just awesome. So, all right, who's next? Who is next? Gary, got yours next. You ready?
All right, let's do it. All right, so we're gonna have that same image by Kyle Hotz that is just so fantastic. We love it. All right, so we that was volume 1, number 5. Number 1 of volume 5.
Yep.
In the center is volume 1 of Man-Bat, and volume 1. Volume 1. How many issues did that run?
2.
2
issues.
Victim of the DC implosion. So that happened at this time. So it only ran 2 issues. That is just some.
Gary, what's your Man-Bat run on? Unbroken run.
My Unbroken run. It starts at 1,
and it goes to
2.
Goes up 2.
Absolutely. So there you go. Man-Bat. Ghost Castle only went 3 issues, but Man-Bat's got it beat. Only went 2. Mm-hmm. So that is some Jim Aparo goodness there.
Yes, it is.
Leathery wings, Batman leaping toward Man-Bat. Just some greatness there. I almost picked a Brave and the Bold cover of 119, but you didn't get as good a view of Man-Bat's wings coming at you. So that's why I didn't on that one. But that was also an Aparo that was really cool. And then on the left, first appearance that I'm lucky enough to own, which is a great, cool cover. Man-Bat, Batman over Gotham. That's a pretty cool 400th issue character creation. So I like it a lot. And that was by Neil Adams and Dick Giordano, the great inker that worked. That he and when Giordano inked Adams, I think that's when Adams was at his best.
Challenge of the Man-Bat.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking checkers either.
Nope. And that was 1970, that book.
Yeah. That's a good one. All right, Dan, I got yours ready to go. You all set?
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you go.
Oh, look.
Look at that.
It's a theme.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll just, the one on the far right, they've said enough about it. It's fantastic. It's nice and horror and gruesome. All the way on the left is Batman 348. I wanted to get one of those good classic covers in there, and I like that one. It's very much the kind of horror element, like an old horror movie where you see the, not to call Batman and Alfred and Robin victims, but like where you see that the people on the bottom kind of unsuspecting, and then you see the monster behind them that's getting ready to come down and get them. I thought that was just a fantastic looking cover. And then the middle one,
it is a Bat Cave.
Yeah.
And that's also a Jim Aparo. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the middle one, Man Bat issue 3. It's from volume 2, issue 3, the last issue of that. I just love how you see Man Bat coming straight at you, and you've got all the bats behind him. But like, just imagine the perspective if you were standing there and you looked up in the night sky and you saw that coming at you, and it was that close that you could see that the level of terror that you would have would be unimaginable.
Jamie's having video game flashbacks.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
So I think the middle one I think is probably my favorite.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Nice. All right, good covers there. Let me show off mine here. Bada bing. All right, so I did not choose that one because I saw your guys all choosing that one cover, so I decided to let that one go. So I chose Man Bat Volume 5, Number 5. This is Sanchez Rodriguez colorist. Kyle Holtz was the artist for this one on the far right.
Another Hots, yeah.
Another one.
He's the one that did the Signal Light cover. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So gotta love it. Gotta love the skulls and the bones below them. Check out the bones. All right. So that let's see. Let's jump to the middle one. I believe that's Batman number 1, volume 1, number 342. This is by Giordano and Tatiana Wood. So I love that. He's got the rope. He's hanging on to him. I love the perspective of this. It's like kind of warped, and and of course we have a little bit of text there. Man, Bat is back, and he's going to get you. And like Batman hanging on for dear life type of thing. Pretty cool. And then the far left one is Detective Comics number 429. And who's the artist here, Gary?
It looks like Nick Cardy to me.
It's a Nick Cardy goodness. Yes, sir. Ding, ding, ding.
It's a Cardy party.
It's a Cardy party.
Party, baby.
So I like this cover because it's got the Man Bat coming out of like the moon type situation where Batman usually, uses that for his trope of like, showing off the bat symbol. But he's there holding the girl who's fainted, of course, and he's hanging on for dear life to looks like a part of a building. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep, very good. And there's your Jason Bard.
There's your Jason Bard right there. Yep.
There he is. Yeah.
The case of the loaded case.
There you go.
All right, so let's go.
Nice stuff.
Good stuff. Good covers there, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And another one that I sent Sal that I thought was pretty badass too was Batman: The Dark Knight Volume 2, issue 29. It was the last issue of the series because the last 2 issues were a Man Bat story. But it's great. It's just like great horrific Man Bat head and like Batman's inside the mouth, like holding the teeth, kind of climbing out.
Yeah, that was good.
Pretty good horror looking thing.
That's good. That was definitely a good horror book. All right. So before we jump to our next segment, Jamie, do we have our giveaways for?
I'll have it this week.
All right. So this week on Saturday night.
Yes.
Okay. Stand by for that, folks. Giveaway coming up Saturday.
I gotta wait for the paycheck, man.
All right. Very good. All right. So now let's go ahead and jump to our essential readings for the character. And Dan, you're going to go first for this one. Let me find your title card there. Boom.
All right, so the first one, Legends of the Dark Knight, annual number 5. This is just the Man Bat's origin. Now, like I said, they've changed it a little over the years. So this does deviate from when he was originally introduced, and it showed him working as kind of a curator in a museum. And this is the origin that they've kind of gone with over the years, where he's a scientist. He's experimenting with like echolocation to cure deafness, and like, he's getting ready to lose his funding, and he experiments on himself, and we know the results. But it's an extended look at his origin and his relationship with Francine and what drives him. So I think that's a good one to read. Man-Bat Volume 2, as I mentioned before, that's the 3-issue mini-series he had, and other than a couple scenes in a flashback, you see him as Man-Bat the entire time. You never see Kirk. And it's him as the Man-Bat creature, like back in Gotham where he's been away for a while, and it's like he's trying to go back to his family, but he retains enough of his humanity to know who they are, but they don't want to have anything to do with him because he's this bat creature now. And it's got some pretty cool fight scenes in it. There's some, he meets up with Killer Croc for the first time, who takes him in after he gets hurt, and there's some pretty cool interactions between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, hey, no problem. You're here with us now.
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
Yep.
indeed.
And then
it's all good.
Justice League Dark Volume 2. I just put the whole thing on there because, it's a whole series, but it's not really that long. It's only like 20-something issues.
29.
29, and I think one annual.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, even though his characterization as Langstrom wasn't spot on in this, they did make him a little goofy at times. It was still cool to see him as part of a hero team. And as I mentioned earlier, he tries to kind of reconcile, like all the magic stuff just fascinates him. He's not like some of these other science characters that are like deny magic and like, oh, that's not real or that. He's like, oh, he knows that it's real, and he's just fascinated by it and wants to use science as a way to explain it for himself. And then of course, sometimes he turns into a big bat creature and fucks shit up.
I love the interaction with Bobo.
Yeah, but and then too, the whole time they they don't really draw him. The closest they get to him really being human is like he's got like the Man-Bat head and then a normal human body, and they're like, oh, we need Man-Bat, and he's like, oh, okay, I think I got some serum here.
Rah.
I got a special drink for that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Nice one.
It's called tequila.
Brings out the Man-Bat in everybody. All right, Gary, I got your stories ready. You set?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
All right, so I have Man-Bat Volume 1, number 1, Volume 2 on there. So it's a little bit of the discrepancy between what Dan has for Volume 2. I'm going by how CLZ listed it. And really, it is just a one-shot reprint book. But what it has in there is Detective Comics 400, Detective 402, and Detective 407, which is the original trilogy of work by Frank Robbins and Neil Adams and Dick
I
Gill.
couldn't fit all that on the title card.
Yeah, I know. So
Isn't the official title for it though, like Man-Bat versus Batman?
Man-Bat, Batman, Man-Bat.
I'm not sure. I didn't think I saw that on the CLZ, but maybe it is. But they had it listed as Man-Bat, Volume 2. So, but it's a reprint book, but it has those 3 issues, which I think are essential to read because it's the first 3 Man-Bat issues, and that's just it's beautiful Neil Adams art, and it's the genesis of the creature. And the 3rd issue is really pretty cool too. There's a reveal with Francine that's pretty horrific. So good stuff. Batman number 536 to 538 was a 3-issue arc. Doug Mennick wrote it, and Kelly Jones illustrated it. And this was when Final Night was going on, and Man-Bat was transforming into Langstrom was transforming into Man-Bat without the serum at that point, which was kind of interesting. And I just love Kelly Jones's bonkers art on this character. So I think it was just a really interesting take on it, and it was a cool 3-issue arc, and you got that great Kelly Jones art on the character. So Let's see. So yeah, it's got a versus Batman on the bottom. So I'm looking at the Man Bat, and it does say versus Batman, but on the official title of CLZ, it's just calling it Man Bat. So, but there is an addendum that I guess could have been put in parentheses versus Batman on the first one. And then the Brave and the Bold 119 is Bob Haney wrote it, Jim Aparo drew it, and it's just that's the one where and Man Bat is like the goofy thing that Dan mentioned earlier. He's trying to make some money by bringing a fugitive in that there's a big reward for. And Batman ends up being on the case too. And together they bring this fugitive back to Gotham, and they fly him all the way from the Caribbean to the mainland after Batman has been transformed into Batman Bat. And the two of them fly the sky all the way back. So just a kind of another bonkers Bob Haney story where there's no continuity within any other part of the DC universe, and it's just great. It's called the Haneyverse, is Brave and the Bold stuff, and another example of great Jim Aparo.
Yes.
So Brave and the Bold 119, worth a read.
All right, very good. Jamie, you ready?
Never, but sure.
And there you go.
So kicking it off with Man Bat from 2006 5-issue mini. This is a dark psychological miniseries that leans hard into horror. It's basically Man Bat meets The Fly meets Seven in my eyes. Kirk's transformation is messy, brutal, and desperate, and you're never quite sure if he's in control or if it's the monster calling the shots at the time. It's got all this gritty modern Gotham feel, plus a tense, is he a hero or a villain kind of vibe going on that makes you question if Batman should be saving Kurt or putting him down. It's also one of the best uses of the Man Bat design to me in a more terrifying style. The next
Batman.
one, yeah, Man Bat Batman thing. Next one, I won't go into too much detail, but his first appearance in Detective 400, we kind of covered it. It's Batman. It's not just Batman fights a man or a bat monster. See, you got me doing the man thing.
There you go. There you go.
It's that tragic scientist testing on himself. For science.
For science.
For science. I'm not a scientist or anything, but. The last one I have is Shaman of the Bat. This is Legends of the Dark Knight 164 through 167. This one to me is underrated, but it's wild. Instead of the usual science accident angle, it pulls Man Bat into a creepy, almost mystical story. Langstrom becomes tangled up with a cult that worships bats. The whole thing plays like a fever dream. It mixes more of the supernatural element with the body horror transformation. This gives Kirk this weird supernatural edge. Plus, it's one of those arcs where Batman isn't just fighting fists and claws. He's up against belief and obsession.
Okay, very good. All right, let's go ahead and jump to my reads then. There we are. All right, let's go ahead and, jump to that middle one, Detective 400. Everybody's already talked about it, but I just want to point out Neil Adams' artwork is amazing. Realistic, it's dramatic. It gave Man Bat like a terrifying presence, and that was just awesome for me. So
Batman Bat thing.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, definitely check this story out. You won't be disappointed. Jumping up to the top, there is Batman number 235, The Swamp Sinister. Now we get a little man thing going on here because it's actually Man Bat and Batman, Man Bat taking on Swamp Thing, or not Swamp Thing, but a Swamp Thing-esque type of creature called Swamp Sinister. So, so the story, they navigate through the swamp, dealing with Man Bat's unpredictable nature, which was awesome, and which kind of like the story highlights Man Bat's duality. And he's capable of violence, but he's still retaining a spark of humanity, which is still one of the things that I did like about this character. But he's a lot. But it's he's aiding Batman against a greater threat, which is pretty cool. So you got a little duality, redemption in this one. You got your environmental gothic horror, and you got collaboration versus chaos, where Batman learns to work with the unpredictable nature of Man-Bat. So, yep, and guess who drew this one as well? Neil Adams. Neil Adams drew this one as well. So this is definitely one you want to do again because his artwork is amazing. This one was written up by Danny O'Neill too, so that's definitely one to check out. And then for my last one, I've got Batman Legends of Dark Knight 27 through 28. I believe we talked about this already, but this really leans heavily on the science versus ethics type of situation, and highlighting the danger of exposing like this type of like transformations and being weaponized and stuff like that. It is really good. It's got horror and consequences with it. It's one of the first modern day horror focused Man-Bat stories, if I remember right. And so it really dives into the dilemma of scientific experimentation and adds depth to Langstrom's character. So, and who did the artwork for this one? Aparo. Jim Aparo did the artwork with this one.
The Aparo?
Yes, and it's gritty. It's realistic. It's got a realistic description. Depictions of Man-Bat's transformation, enhancing the horror tone. So I like that. This story also reinforces the role as a tragic anti-hero and not just a simple villain. So definitely you want to check that out. And there we go. There's our essential readings, guys. Good stuff. Mr. Keith's got a question there. I think Gary handled that one.
Yeah, we'll let Gary handle this one.
Man-Bat versus Killer Croc. In the sewers, Killer Croc. In the air, Man-Bat.
And that's why we leave it to Uncle Gary.
There you go. Thank you for that. All right, so let's jump over to our next segment. Dan, you want to go first on this? This is our best writer and artist.
All right, for writer, I ended up going with Chuck Dixon. He wrote that Volume 2 Man-Bat miniseries, and he wrote, Man-Bat in a bunch of different Batman and Batman-related series, and I liked the way he did it. And then for artists, I had to go with Neil Adams.
Yeah. That's some good stuff.
Co-created them, and it's Neil Adams. What more you got to say?
I know. I'll go next on this one because I'm also a Chuck Dixon fan, and I was really going to go with Neil Adams, but I have Jim Aparo in there just because I love Aparo stuff. So it's a very close second for Jim Aparo, but Neil Adams will win the day. Jamie, how about you?
I went for my writer being Bruce Jones from that Man-Bat miniseries because I really enjoyed that, but I'm going to go with Aparo on art.
Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right.
I was hoping no one took him right away. I was like, I need to say it.
Go ahead. That's fine. All right, Gary, how about you?
All right. Well, on this one, on the writer, I'm also going to go Chuck Dixon on that. But for the artist, I want to give love to Neil Adams on this character. And also in 400, besides the horror book, the way Adams draws Langston, you get empathy, that he's this tragic guy that's being transformed into this creature. The way he draws Francine, when he draws her, there's a lot of, tragedy in that too, his emotive work. So I really love Neil Adams on this, and I love Jim Aparo on Man-Bat, and it's really, really hard for me to pick between the two of them. So I'm going to throw in a wild card. But before I do that, I also want to say how great Kyle Hotz draws the cover.
Oh, yeah.
This character.
Absolutely.
But I love the way Kelly Jones draws this. So because I don't want to pick between Adams and Aparo on this, and it's conflicted me.
Just pick Neil Aparo.
There you go. I want to throw in, Magnolia would be pretty interesting, but I want to throw in Kelly Jones on there, and I believe Kelly Jones is his style is it's right off of Bernie Wrightson. It's just a little
It would have been cool to see Bernie draw him.
Yeah, I don't know that Bernie has ever drawn Man-Bat. I couldn't find any images of that. But I'm sure he has. I'm sure he's drawn some sketch covers or something like that. But just as a wild card, I'm going throw Kelly Jones some love because of the interesting way he draws that character. But y'all with Aparo and Adams are on point.
Yeah. Very true. Very
Well,
true.
it's like one of those things, when we're picking best artists, and if it's someone in like the Justice League or Avengers, like, I mean, Perez is the obvious choice. Or
Oh yeah.
if you're picking like the X-Men, it's like, all right, well,
Claremont.
John Byrne or Jim Lee, like, when you're picking a Batman or Batman related character, like, Neil Adams is one of the obvious choices.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And for my generation, also Aparo is, so and Adams, after Adams stopped his run on the character, Aparo pretty much moved in there. And the Brave and the Bold cover I almost chose was one of those where it kind of highlighted Batman a little more than Man-Bat. And Batman was one of those cases where Batman's hand was there, and you're like, oh man, I don't want to get hit with that.
No.
It was another great Batman hand, hand of power.
Hands of bat.
Hands of Man-Bat thing, Batman.
Yeah. There you go.
Batman.
Man,
All right.
Batman.
All right, folks. Well, then I guess this wraps it up, guys. Excellent stories, excellent covers. Good job all around. Got to learn more about this character that flies through the night. Maybe we'll have to do a Halloween episode where we throw in some covers for him. We do our Halloween episode.
Yeah.
So, all
That
right,
would
then.
be cool.
All right. So I guess we'll go ahead and sign off. We will see you guys next week. Well, for Comic Character Week, of course. But, of course, don't miss us on Saturday night for Comics Unleashed, where we show you our latest pulls and any back issues that we picked up. I'm your host tonight, Sal the Slab Guy. Down below is Dan the Kelly Art. Right over there is the Ric Flair Comics. Yep. That's a win-win. That's so true.
That is a win-win, Boosh.
And our High Evolutionary right there, J-Dub. Folks, we will see you next week where we are covering Doc Ock.
Ooh.
All right.